Humans are no longer third dimensional. If you were to come across someone from 100 years ago, they would think you were a ghost. That's because we're holding on to so much light within the body now. We would be kind of invisible to them. So that's how crazy it gets. We are now fully stationed as a collective. I'm talking about the whole planet. Every person on the planet has their consciousness is now stationed at the level of the astral plane, the fourth dimension. And this explains why the world has gotten so crazy. It's because we are actually existing in a different version of Earth. People think it's the same, right? The same reality out there, but it's completely different. The hologram has changed. So just to back up a second, understanding as a third dimensional human, right? Before we even woke up, we were the ego mind, which is that mental plane, the mental awareness existing on the surface level of planet Earth. But this is why we're walking around on the surface of Earth, because we were stationed, our consciousness was stationed on the surface, and we were having the experience of one dimension down from where we were located at, which was we were experiencing the hologram as being the elemental earth body. This is also the lower emotional realm that we were experiencing as our hologram. And the atomic level, of course, of reality is the crystal core of the planet. That's the first dimension. So the first, second, third dimension, right? That made up the 3D human, right? The physical level, the lower emotional level, and the lower mental level. And those combine to give you a reality bubble. This is how we walk around and have an experience. But everything has changed. Now, if you're watching my videos, you're probably an indigo or starseed or light worker, which means that we are stationed well above the fourth dimension of the astral plane. But if you remember when you first woke up, remember the thing called the dark night of the soul, where you woke up and started realizing that the world was horrible out there, everything was backwards, and things just started rapidly happening. Now that's what's going on in the world right now. So you have to realize that when you wake up, you're not just, okay, I woke up and just figured things out. Your station of consciousness, your ability of experiencing reality, your coordinate in time-space has changed. So back when we first woke up, what happened was our ego mind, so we were no longer just coming from the surface level of Earth, right? I'm existing in this plane. What happened is our Kundalini started essentially activating, which meant that we have higher chakras activating. So our sun is actually the stargate for the fourth dimension, the astral plane. And of course, the Earth also has a fourth dimensional stargate, which is the Pyramid of Giza, which explains why there's so much chaos as well going on in that area. And your body also has a fourth dimensional stargate as well, which is your heart chakra. So think about it, when you first woke up, your heart opened up even just a little bit. And so your consciousness actually, where your consciousness was stationed changed. So you were no longer just operating as a 3D human, right? Having a physical, an emotional, and a mental realm. You now had a higher realm that you started being able to exist from. And of course, this is why the heart has so many walls and problems and traumas and shadow. It's because it is linked to the astral plane, right? This is our astral stargate. And of course, the astral realm, if you know anything about it, has many issues. This is essentially one of the cesspools that we have been clearing for eons. If you've been doing this work for any amount of years, you will know that the astral plane is a plane with a lot of distortions, a lot of darker types of energies and entities. And really, we can think about it as unconscious aspects of people. right? Because it's not just some random demon. These are collective thought forms that end up creating consciousnesses that end up becoming darker and more distorted, darker, and eventually end up, right, becoming what we call demonic or evil. Now, the distortions and the problems in the world go way beyond the astral plane. So people think that, okay, once you're beyond 4D, you're at 5D, everything's perfect. Well, that's not how it works, but that's for other videos. But for this video, I want you to understand how your consciousness, when you woke up, it wasn't just that you just started being able to experience a different reality or start seeing through the cracks of the matrix. It's because your consciousness, your station of identity changed, your coordinate in time and space. And you were now expanded to a higher level, a higher dimension. You have access to other bandwidths of frequencies that you didn't have before. And that is why you started the process of ascension. So this is what's happening in the world right now. So we have to understand that when your consciousness changes, where you are actually pulling it from, right? Because you think about chakras, okay? So chakras, which is your inner stargate. Well, what is it? What's a chakra? This is like a dimension. This has many timelines. So really, when you open up a different chakra, when you align and balance your own chakras, your own inner stargates, you have access to other identities of self, of you, operating in other time-space locations in the hologram of the organic creation, right? This is why we then start being able to pull other aspects of ourselves into you. Remember, you are the center of the universe. You are the whole universe, but you are the center, the singularity. So when you open up a stargate within yourself, you activate simultaneously the macrocosmic stargate, because that's the mirror, right? The outside world, the hologram, is just the mirror for the inner world. So what happens is your station of identity changes and your hologram out there changes, because you start coming from a different coordinate in time space, a more expanded coordinate, right? You have access to other frequency bandwidths, other senses. Let's say instead of just right touch, taste, feel, now you're able to have way beyond just the 5 senses. This is why when you open up the other chakras, you can develop psychic abilities. But we go way beyond just the typical clairs, right? Because it gets weird. You can't even describe. This is why, you know, for me to explain a lot of the things that I go through in words, in linear words, is almost impossible. But that's where you have to understand, is that now the whole collective is coming from the level of the astral plane. So one step down from there, so one dimension down, is what they're experiencing now as their version of Earth. That is the mental realm. So when you come from the 4th dimension, you're experiencing one level down. Essentially what they're experiencing, why the world has gotten so crazy and out of control right now. It just seems like things have been amping up ridiculously just in the past month or so. That's because the version of Earth that the collective is now experiencing is the mental realm of all the thought forms. So where do you think your thoughts go? Your thoughts are the atmosphere. People are experiencing now a version of Earth of all the collective thought forms. And think about yourself, how many thoughts you have in a day, especially negative ones. Now times that by 8 billion people, you know, over, you know, how many infinite lifetimes. That is the amount of, let's say, collective hell that people are experiencing. And that's also why we have way faster ability to manifest right now. Like your thoughts are creating your reality so quickly right now. This is also why you're probably experiencing that you were changing timelines moment by moment. Right? You could be good 1 second, you have one negative thought pop into your mind, boom. you're in a lower timeline. Now you're experiencing chaos. And then you get back, okay, back into center, and now things will calm down again. So this is normal. So remember that you will experience many different dimensions and different timelines, up, down, up, down, up, down. It's really out, in, out, in. So that's normal. So don't think you're crazy if you're experiencing, right, the ups and downs of ascension. Again, I have many other videos, check them out. Now, if you like the video so far, make sure you give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to share the video as well on your social media platforms. If you want a lot more mind-blowing topics, I go into many things on my course, Ascension Magic, where I have hundreds of different videos, diagrams, all of this. So how are we existing at the level of the sun, the solar plane, if we appear to just be walking around on the same earth? It's because the atmosphere that was before the veil separating the level of the solar plane and the level of the surface of Earth has collapsed. So they have really opened up. There's no more veil separating the third and fourth dimension. It was a veil, a false, artificially held frequency net. Now this is important because the first, second, third dimension, this was creating a hologram, a reality bubble that was the ego personality, let's say, you know, the 3D human experience. When you start coming from now the first, second, third, and fourth dimension, so when someone is a fourth dimensional being, what happens is people are now experiencing the lowest levels of bandwidths of the soul matrix. So this is why things are even getting crazier in the negative as well, because they are trying to shut down ascension wherever they can, because things are rapidly expanding. When people start activating their soul matrix, this is where they get out of the prison planet. They're no longer entrapped. Now again, this is the first steps. Again, if you're watching my videos, you've probably already gone through a lot of your own dark night of the soul. So you know that it's a process over many, many months and years, really. Now people are experiencing a rapid fire, though, of the shadow coming up to play. If you've noticed, the sun has changed dramatically. It used to be a lot less bright, a lot more yellow. Now it seems to be very bright. There's definitely lots of different color coming off of it. It's a lot more white than it ever used to be. And you're probably experiencing as well, the sun sometimes is so hot, especially when your heart is open, when you are feeling amazing. Are you able to clear the clouds and get such a hot sun? For me, it's something I've been doing for many years. You'll notice that you can actually bring the sun out. And that's because the veil that used to be separating, right, the atmosphere, which actually was a false magnetic field. This was a frequency net that was created artificially millions of years ago. So again, this is not something that was just created recently. It was a false, artificially held net that prevented other aspects of us from being anchored into the body. This literally kept us from ascending and kept people existing in a low consciousness loop. And we are at the final stages of the conflict of eradicating this system from artificial, let's say, AI technologies. Because this is not just something that we see out there with computers and things like that. The infection happened many layers. So again, this goes way beyond just the astral plane. But the frequency nets holding people hostage into low consciousness. This is why you look around, the world is absolutely stupid. The way that people live is back-asswards. It's a death culture. People love to be unhealthy, right? So again, I'll probably have a full video on that sometime. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and hit that bell as well, because I'll be talking about many different topics. Now the sun has changed because our consciousness has changed. Because when you embody higher dimensional levels into the body, it's physical. it's not just dream walking or shamanic journeying. It is you experience changes in the elements and elementals and the world around you. It's because we live in a shape-shifting hologram. Remember that. There's different versions of Earth depending on where you are stationed at in your consciousness. So we have been incorporating so much light into the body and into the planet. So it's kind of like when you start bringing your frequency up, and then it kind of needs to calm down a bit and integrate, and then you bring more in. And so it's a constant process of expansion and contraction, and that's normal. But we have fully dissolved the veil between the third and fourth dimension. So it's exciting times. Even though we see things playing out in the world, remember, that's not your experience. Your hologram is what you experience directly. So something's happening in your life, in your hologram, that's for you to deal with. But it's not helping anyone by getting completely into fear and negativity and anger and feeling, right, that the whole world out there is so horrible, oh my God, and needing to feed yourself with more of that BS. That's not helping anybody, especially yourself. You're lowering your frequency, which is the whole point of everything going on right now. Then they can trap you into the matrix. So know that when you're above it, that is how you start being able to change the game. We change the rules of the game by deleting the matrix. So watch my other video that I did here the other day talking about November Ascension Energy Update, where I talk about you are the rainbow bridge anchoring New Earth on the planet. And we do it by going above these frequency nets. So the astral plane, remember, has a lot of frequency nets, distortions, darker type things in it. This is one of the big cesspools, or should I say rat's nests, that I've been clearing, and a lot of you as well have been clearing through our grid work and gate work. And that's because it is really a place that there is just a lot of issues. We can also see it with the planets, right? The planets would also be frequency bandwidths, or should I say subharmonics of the solar plane, which is the astral field. And all the planets, if you know much about the planets, they are all spinning completely weird. Every planet should line up perfectly with the north and south poles of the sun, and same as us. Well, Earth has a 23-degree tilt. That is a frequency net. That is not normal. That's why we have you know what, that's for other videos. Subscribe to the channel for a lot more on that. But other planets, some are going upside down, some are spinning backwards, some are completely sideways. That represents the distortions in the astral plane. The reason why the astral plane has been, like I said, a cesspool that we have been clearing for many years. So don't think that you're alone. We're all doing this together. And know that when you anchor in higher dimensions, these are collective dimensions. So no one is left behind. We are doing so much work in the background. Shine bright out there, because know that when the whole world is experiencing chaos, you need to be the one that is anchored, solidly holding the new Earth architecture, well beyond the veils that keep people trapped into the prison planet. So we are liberating Earth. Know that. It's going to be a process, right? It takes many layers that we have been working on, which is why we're seeing the changes happening now and why we're seeing evil everywhere. It's not because it's getting worse. It's because they're getting desperate. I'll be talking about that in the next video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and don't forget to hit the notification bell. My course, Ascension Magic, has hundreds of different topics to really help you understand fully what's going on and some mind-blowing information. And the link to that course will be in the description below. And don't forget to also share the video and comment below what you guys are going through. I'd also love to hear what you guys want to know about. I would love to hear what type of topics you want me to do videos on. And also, don't forget to find me on social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, where I have other stuff. And I hope I earned a thumbs up. We'll see you very soon on Earth 1111. Shine bright. Love you so much. Bye-bye.